This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, welcome to techtrainersonline.com. And today's session, we will be talking about introduction to the trainer, nothing but Ashok Reddy, about myself. And then we will talk about introduction to manual testing. Objectives are what are the objectives of manual testing and the types of testing what we have in software industry. And then we will talk about software development life cycle and what are the different roles and responsibilities what we have it in the software development life cycle. So let me start introducing about myself. I'm Ashok Reddy. I'm into IT industry for past 16 years. I'm still working professional. I'm working in one of the MNC in India as a test manager, and I'm also having experience in automation as well, including both automation and as well as manual testing. And as part of my IT industry role, I traveled multiple countries and worked at the client location as well. Apart from 16 years of experience in IT industry, I also have 6+ years of experience in training, where I do online trainings as well. So overall, it's 20+ years of experience into my career, where so far I'm into now. So that's about brief about me. So before talking about today's session, let's talk about the roadmap of the training. Basically, this training, we have manual testing and as well as automation testing as well. So I understand you guys, I understand you guys are looking for both manual and as well as automation testing. So manual testing and automation testing basically goes for 5 days in a week. So it basically goes 5 days in a week and 2 hours per day. And out of 2 hours, what we basically will be doing is 1.5 hour would be per session, and remaining 30 minutes we will be discussing about clarifying doubts and also feedback on assignments. So what we basically going to give you guys is, like, I will be also giving you the guys assignments most of the time wherever it is applicable. So you guys can go ahead and do the assignment and send it to me for the review. So I will be reviewing your assignment, whatever you guys have done, and also I will be providing the feedback for the assignment that you guys have done, right? And any questions on the assignment feedback that I have given, or if something you guys are completely done wrong, and again I have to explain the same thing what you guys did and what was expected to be performed as part of your automation. So that's what we are going to spend of your 30 minutes of time for question and answer sessions and as well as the assignment feedback. So basically this session is targeted for 3 weeks, so which is nothing but 15 days. So 2 hours per day. So it will be total of 30 hours training, right? So it also includes one project. When I say the live project is nothing but, so initially we will in week 1 and week 2 we'll be learning about the manual testing, and once you guys have learned the manual testing, then will go on for you guys will go on for implementing practically on the live project whatever you guys have learned. So which means that, so what you guys have learned, you will be implementing it practically, and it boosts your confidence level, and as well as it also helps you guys for doing your job when you get a job in IT industry as a software test engineer. So whatever you guys are going to do in your job, so you guys are going to do the same thing as is in your live project. So it's more or less like, I would say, it's your job what you are doing on your live project, like what you guys would do. Once you get into a job, you will be assigned to a project. Once you have been assigned to a project, what activities you are going to do, how you are going to do, how it's going to happen in real time, and all those things are going to be discussed in our live project. So live project, we will talk about SDLC, software development lifecycle model. So most of the industry, 90% of the industry is running in agile model. I'm not sure whether you guys would have heard about the software development lifecycle models. Nothing to be worried. We will be discussing them in the coming session. So we will be talking about different software development lifecycle models what we have. Agile is one of the famous model in the market now. So 90% of the projects are running in agile model, and few of them are running in another model called waterfall model or V model. So when I'm talking about the live project, so we will be learning the live project with the agile model, agile software development lifecycle model, because I don't want to talk too much on the waterfall model where it is not even used in industry, as only 10% of projects are getting used about the waterfall model, which doesn't get benefited for you. So I'll be spending most of the time on the live project with the agile model. So you'll be getting hands-on with the latest model, which is 90% of the projects are used in IT industry, which is called agile, and you will get perfectly hands-on experience with the practical on the live project, right? And apart from live project, I will also take you mock interviews. So I'll be also taking the mock interview for you guys once the course is completed, just to make sure that where do you guys stand on clearing your interviews, right? So this also helps you guys in gaining the confidence to clear your interviews, right? So we'll be talking about mock interviews also. So I also have listed of couple of questions what generally interview panel is going to ask on your software testing. So I have listed of all those questions, and I'll be taking mock interview for all of you guys individually or as a group. I will be taking out. And I'm also part of interview panel where I involved in a lot of interview panels on the weekend drives and as well as in the campus hires, what we generally go to the BTech or MCA graduates to hire as a campus interview. And then apart from mock interviews, I will be also helping in preparation of resume / your CV. So I'll be helping you guys in preparation of your resume and as well as CV once your course is done, so that you guys can go ahead and start applying for your job. So you guys can go ahead and upload your resume into job portals and start actively looking for your software industry career testing. Okay, so this is brief about the manual testing. I'll just repeat, it's a 5 days course, 5 days in a week, 2 hours per day. So out of 2 hours, 1.5 hour we'll be spending for the session what we have targeted for the day, and 30 minutes of the time for the question and answer sessions, and as well as the feedback and the assignments that you guys have done. And then it would be 3 weeks tenure for the manual testing. So it would be 15 days, which is equivalent to 30 hours of the session, what we are trying to target for manual testing, where we also learn with the live project, mock interviews, and we also help you for preparation of the resume. And then one more thing we also have, we will be learning tools like test management tools and defect management tools as well. So once you guys are into job where you guys will be always using the test management tools and defect management tools, and you guys will have completely learn with the hands-on how to use the test management tool and what is the test management tool, what are the different types of tools we have, and how to use them, and what is the purpose of using those test management tool. And the same thing is applicable for defect management also. We learn what is a defect, why we get a defect in software industry, what are the different defect management tools we have. So we'll be learning in and out of your manual testing. So when it comes to the automation testing, there are so many tools available in the market for the automation testing. So here we'll be learning. Selenium is one of the functional automation testing tool, and we'll talk about what is functional testing and what is non-functional testing. We'll learn that in the manual testing. So you guys would be learning Selenium with Java. So which would be the automation part. So this again remain the same. So it would be the same thing. So it's same thing. Automation testing will typically goes Monday to Friday, 2 hours per day, and it would be a 4 week session. It may not complete in 3 weeks, so we will go it with the 4 weeks, right? So it would be 4 to 5 weeks. I would not exactly stick to the 4 weeks. It's not like that I have to start a new batch on the 5th week and I'm completely scheduled for 4 weeks. No, it's all deferred to the, sometimes batch to batch. And if you guys see taking more time, then 2-3 days here and there we will extend, right? So 4 to 5 weeks. What exactly the tenure of this automation course what we have. So for same thing, you will have assignments, you will have mock interviews, and you will also have helping on resume preparation, and you will also having tools management like Eclipse. And in automation testing, we'll be starting from the scratch. So when I say an automation testing tool, you also need to know some programming language. We'll be also training you guys on the programming language as well. And you don't have to pay any extra thing for the programming language. It also includes in your package. So you don't have to go for learning Java separate course and Selenium as a separate course and manual as a separate course. So we included all these things into one package, manual and automation testing course, what we basically call, and it covers everything. So overall, 7 to 8 weeks of tenure for the entire course, which comes for manual and as well as for the automation testing. Any questions so far on this?
Hi. I just want to ask, are you helping like to prepare a Naukri profile for tester?
Yeah, that's what when I say we'll be helping you in preparation of the CV and resume, that's what it means. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay.
You can upload that profile into whatever the job portals like Monster or Naukri, Time Jobs,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the portal you guys have. I would recommend don't stick to only one portal. Create an account in multiple job portals like Naukri, Monster, Time Jobs. I think these are the three things where the recruiters are looking. And apart from that, so now most of the HRs are looking directly from the LinkedIn profile. Do you guys know LinkedIn?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
most of,
Yes.
yeah. So now its trend is already changed. Now I would not say it's changing. It's already changed. Now the HRs started looking into reaching out the people through the LinkedIn also. So I would strongly recommend you guys to create one LinkedIn profile if you do not have once your course is completed. So once you feel you are good to go and ready to start searching for the jobs, you guys can go ahead and apply creation of your LinkedIn profile, and so that you guys can get in touch with HRs, or you can clearly mention that you're seeking for a job in manual testing with these are my capabilities and experiences. So whoever HR from the different companies are looking for the same profiles, and they will definitely try to connect with you, and they will reach out to you over the chat window or through email or through a call also. So don't leave any opportunity of communication channels, including job portals and the LinkedIn profile. So these are the few things. I will also help you guys on preparing your LinkedIn profile also. Since you guys already have, that should be fair enough. Okay, so if no questions, let's move on for today's topic, introduction to manual testing. So before talking about what is manual testing and why we do manual testing, can you guys tell me what you mean by a testing? Forget about IT industry, forget about software testing. So I'm talking about the general testing which is applicable. So you guys can don't consider testing is applicable only for software industry. Testing is applicable for across the globe across the different industries. It's not applicable only for IT or software industry, right? So it's applicable for every industry. So what do you mean by testing, basically? What you guys are going to do? Either way is fine. You can give me the wrong answer or right answer. It's still fine. No penalty for wrong answer.
If we make some product, so tester job is like to check the product as per requirement, as per client requirement. That's it. I know.
Check. Okay. Check the product. Let me make a note. So when I'm trying to explain you guys, you don't have to make anything to note down. I'll be making a notes for you also. I'll be typing the notes for you guys, and I'll be sending you this notes as well along with the recording. So I'll be sharing the class video recordings on daily basis once the course is completed, as well as the notes that I'm typing in here, so that I want you guys only to concentrate what I'm trying to explain on the session. So you don't have to, deviate on writing a notes. I'll be writing that notes for you guys as well. So you're saying check product is meeting client requirements. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, this is one of the things. So Ankush, you want to add? Since you're already into L1, L2, you might have more on why you are in L1, L2, right? What do you guys,
Yeah,
what do you guys in
actually,
L1, L2 basically?
actually, we are going to confirm whether the product which we have designed is working properly or not. We are going to do the repeat task for the same product, that we are checking the output of this, that whether it is working correctly or not.
Okay. Anything you get in L1, L2? L1, L2 will always bother with something, right? What is that you guys will be always bothered with? Do you approach L3?
Product failure issue.
Product severe issue, okay.
Yeah.
So why do you get that severe issue?
Actually, you can say that is whenever if the product testing is not proper, means you can say, suppose I've designed one thing and that is not that is working for correctly for 100 times, but not for 1,000 times, then there is a issue in that. So that may be the issue.
Okay. Do you guys approach L3 team?
Yeah, we are going to
Okay.
approach it. Whenever there is an issue, we are going to collect the logs and all, and that is forwarded to the designing team, that this is the issue, and we are going to send in the logs, because we are interfacing with other companies also, so other company products, so they are going to design the product again. They are going to update it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Dhanshree, I mean, I know you may not be getting what we are talking L1, L2 or L3. I will explain it in today's class only. That's one of the topic what we have in today's session, L1, L2, L3. So that's where
Okay,
Ankush is already is experienced in that. So that's why I'm talking more that aspect of you.
no problem, sir.
So basically to find the defects, right? So what is the tester? Why you guys do testing to find the defect? Now let's take an example of this corona, whatever is going on now, right? COVID-19. So do we guys get the vaccination yet? No, right? What's going on? I mean, there is a process, right? So when the vaccination is invented, some medicine is invented for this corona. So does this will be directly given to the customers or to the users go ahead and use this vaccine directly?
No, there is a clinical trial.
There will be a trial. They will be testing that whether the drug or vaccine that they have invented is working correctly or not. Is it really working as per the expectations? What are the expectations? It is kill that bacteria, whatever the virus that is causing for corona, and it should kill that, and it should not give any side effects. There should not be any issues for the people whoever is taking that vaccination. So it should go through the, I think according to WHO, right, World Health Organization, I think they have certain formalities. So it should be thoroughly tested with the number of people. I'm repeating the word again, should be thoroughly tested with the three times, I believe, right? That's what I was hearing. So any new medicine that is invented and trying to introducing into the world before actual people are going to use it, it has to go through thorough testing for the three times with the multiple peoples, to make sure it is working as expected and it is not causing. So if there are any side effects, then we call it as a defective vaccine or something like that. So that's what I mean to say, that the testing is not applicable only for IT industry, it is also applicable for every industry. Just we spoke about health industry here, right? And now take another industry which is called automobile. So automobile is nothing but the car. Whenever a manufacturer is purchasing, I mean, in creating a new car, he would not directly give it to the end user. He will not directly sell it to the end user to use it. So they have to make sure that it is working as expected, as per the requirements that are given by the client, and make sure all are working. And then only they will release that car into the market where people can go and purchase it. So why we have to test it? Testing to make sure the system is working as expected or the product is meeting the client requirements, and to find the defect. So what do you mean by a defect? Any idea?
Nope.
Bug. Simple answer. What do you mean by a bug? There is in fact difference between defect, bug, that we will discuss in the coming sessions. There is a difference in defect and bug theoretically. For now, you guys can consider defect and bug are the same thing for now, just to not to confuse you guys on the day one session to talk too much on defect and bug. To find the defect or bug, what do you mean by a defect or a bug? Now, let's take an example. You guys are generally, most of the folks are having ATM card and bank accounts. Let's say that you guys go and to ATM machine with your card and you insert your ATM card. So first, what it is going to ask you guys? The PIN number, right? Let's say I have given the wrong PIN number. It still allows me to perform the activities whatever I wanted to do. So do you think it's working as expected? It is not working as expected, which means that it should display me an error message stating that your PIN number is wrong, try to enter again. So what is this exactly I'm talking about? It should display an error message stating PIN number is wrong. So what are we trying to call this? We are trying to call this as expectations from the client. So client says, I want some machine, which is called an ATM machine. If some of the user is inserting the ATM machine, card inside the ATM machine, if user enters the wrong PIN number, it should display an error message saying that your PIN number is wrong. So that's what is expected from the client. Now, what is it is allowing to do the transactions even though you guys are entering the wrong password? Do you think it is working as expected? So we are talking about two things here. One is expected result and another one is the actual result. So actual result is nothing but what is implemented. Now the developer is implemented and a software which is inserted in ATM machine, which should validate for right pin and then allow to do it. If wrong pin is entered, it should stop and display an error message. But the actual result is it's not displaying an error message. It's continuing to do the activities to the end user. So this is the actual result. So what is being expected? Expected is that the system should display an error message saying that your pin is wrong. But what is actual implementation? System is allowing to do the activities. So there is a deviation between the actual result and the expected result. So whenever you guys see there is a difference between the expected result and actual result, then we are going to call it as a defect or a bug. Is it clear, guys? What do you mean by a defect or a bug? Or any questions?
Yes, it's clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So make sure not to confuse here. Your actual result should always meet with the expected result. It should not be vice versa. Are you guys getting what I'm saying? You should never compare expected result with the actual result. You should always compare actual result should meet with the expected result. It doesn't matter what actual result, it should always match with the expected results, because this is what is expected from the client and this is what is expected to be designed by the development team. If you see that actual result is not meeting with the expected results, we directly go and call it as a defect. You guys got it right? With what you guys have to compare, your actual result should always match with the expected result. It's not reversed. Okay. To find the defect and to prevent the defect. So what do you mean by to prevent the defects? From whom I wanted to prevent these defects?
From developer.
No, developer is already implementing. It's given to you for testing. So the developer is also going to do the testing to prevent the defects from the testing team. So before doing testing from the testing team, who is going to do the testing? Development team is going to do the testing for the code, whatever they have written, to make sure the code is working as expected. So then we call preventing the defects from the testing team. Now I'm talking about preventing the defects in the testing. So what do you mean by, I don't want end users to get defects when they are going to use my product. Now let's take an example that you guys are working, you guys are having a banking account with HDFC Bank. I'm just giving an example, okay? Now, you always face one or two issues. Whenever you always log in, you always face some issue with that particular bank with whom you have an account. Let's say that it takes a lot for you guys to logging into your account, net banking. I'm just giving an example. So always it takes 2 to 3 minutes for you guys to logging into your HDFC Bank account. I'm just giving an example. So, and always there is a defect whenever you try to raise, let's say that you wanted to raise a checkbook request after you log in, right? It always keeps saying that try again, your request could not be processed, try again. It always giving some kind of these kind of issues. Do you guys like to continue with that particular bank where you guys are facing the issues? So you are an end users, you are an customers to the HDFC Bank in this example. So why I'm doing the testing? To prevent the defects. I don't want defects to be triggered to the end users. In this example, end users are nothing but you both, whoever is using the HDFC Bank account in this example. So I wanted to prevent the defects in the production from the end user. So when I'm talking about the production, is the place where all end users are going to access it. It's a real-time environment where all the people are going to use my product. So another major intention of testing is to prevent the defects. I wanted to prevent the defect from the end user, so that I don't want to get a lot of complaints from, I don't want my client should get a lot of defects from their end users. You guys got what I mean? To prevent defects. I'm just making to clear. To prevent defects from end users, and also to gain confidence. So what do you mean by to gain the confidence? I think before going into the gain confidence, deliver quality product. So I should make sure that whatever the product that I agree to develop with the client, I should make sure the product is with the 100% quality. I don't want to have, a very low quality product. I wanted to deliver it to the client, and client will make it available to the end user, and end user comes back with the complete negative feedback, and client would not survive in the market for the business if the quality of the product which they have launched is not good, right? And the second and the last thing is to gain the confidence. So what do you mean by to gain the confidence? By delivering the quality of the product to the client, I wanted to gain the confidence from the client so that I can get more business from the client. So as simple as, if you guys are happy with the client, I mean, if you guys are happy with, if the client is happy with whatever the work and product that you guys have delivered, the client can recommend you guys for other organizations as well, and the client can also give you the nice feedback on whatever you guys have done, and you guys can showcase this the feedback to other companies where you are going for bidding for new project, saying that, hey, this is the bank HDFC we implemented, and client is very much happy, and it is being in the market for almost 8 years now, and there are no major issues, client is happy and product is running very well, and this is the feedback what we got it. So that's how you guys have to deliver the quality product and gain the confidence from the client by, doing the testing, so that you guys can sustain in the market for getting more project from the clients, maybe from the same client or maybe from other clients by using the feedback aid. Okay, so these are the major things why we have to go and do the testing. Any questions so far?
Yeah, it's fine.
No, it's fine. Yes.
Okay. So now let's try to understand what do you mean by a software testing. So software testing is a process to make sure whatever is being implemented is working as expected. That's what exactly the process we do. So we also have something called software testing lifecycle. We will discuss about what do you mean by a software testing lifecycle, and when the software testing is going to start, when it is going to end, and what are the different things that we do in software testing. We will be discussing about in detail in coming sessions about software testing lifecycle, right? So let's try to understand what are the objectives of software testing. What are the objectives of software testing, and why do I need to do the software testing? I think more or less what we have just discussed the same thing. To find the defects which may get created by the programmer while developing the software. So the major intention of the tester role is, or objective of the tester is, to find the defect. So we also talked about what is a defect and bug, and gaining the confidence in and providing information about the level of quality. So we need to always showcase to the client what level of the quality that we guys are delivering the product, whatever we are giving it to it. To prevent the defects, I just said, we also need to, prevent the defects from the end users, whoever is going to use the product. We don't want them to getting a lot of defects, and I don't want to get a lot of negative feedback from the client customers, right? To make sure that the end results meet the business and user requirements. I'm talking about last but one. So to make sure whatever the system is being developed is meeting the business and the user requirements. So we always have, so when a tester is going to do a testing, tester will always have what is being expected from this particular product. If I take an example, ATM is one of the product. If I just give an example, right? And there are some expectations whenever user inserts the ATM pin, insert the ATM card, it should ask for the pin, right? If user enters the pin, I'm just giving the user requirements or business requirements as an example in ATM machine so that you guys can understand it easily, right? And when you enter wrong pin, it should display an error message. If user enters wrong pin more than 3 times, the account should be locked, or card should be locked for 24 hours. That's another requirement. If user enters the ATM card which is already blocked, right? And then system again, ATM machine should display that your card is being blocked and you cannot use this. Reach out to the customer care for further details. That's another requirement. If your ATM card is already expired, you always have expiration date for your ATM card. If you try to insert that, ATM card which is already expired, it should display an error message. Your ATM card is expired. Please renewal your ATM card or apply for new card. That's another requirement. And there is also a requirement per day limit to withdraw in your ATM card. It depends on the type of the ATM card which you guys are holding, and you will always have per day limit withdrawal from the ATM machine. You need to test, try to enter the amount which is more than per day limit and see whether it is allowing or not. So these are the business or the client requirements. We need to make sure the whatever the software is being developed or implemented is meeting all these business or user requirements which are given by the clients. That's the major objective of your software testing or the tester role. To ensure that it satisfies the BRS, which is nothing but business requirement specification, or SRS, which we call it as software requirement specification, or system requirement specification. So let me talk about BRS or SRS. So business requirement specifications or software requirement specification are nothing but a document in which we guys are listing out all the user requirements. Now client will come back with 100 to 200 requirements, right? So I just orally listed out a lot of requirements. Now ATM card insert, it should ask for the pin number, requirement number 1. If user enters wrong pin, requirement number 2, it should display an error message. Requirement 3, if user enters wrong pin more than 3 times, ATM card should be locked. Requirement number 4, if user enters the ATM card which is blocked, it should not allow and display error message. Requirement 5, if user enters expired card and inserts the expired card, it should not allow and display an error message. I'm just giving and if user tries to enter the withdraw the maximum limit, then per day it should display an error message, it should not allow to do it. So there are so many requirements when you guys are developing a product. Do you guys think that you will remember all these requirements? Do you guys think the developer will remember and the tester will remember all these requirements?
That is quite difficult.
It is very difficult for remembering for the developer or the tester. So what we basically do is we note down all the requirements whichever the client is explaining to us in a document. We call the document as a SRS document, or we call it as a BRS document, in which we list out all 100 or 200, whatever the number of requirements client is asking us to do it, implementing the product. We list down all the requirements and then we start implementing the product by going through this SRS or BRS document. In one line statement to answer what is SRS or BRS, it's a document in which all the client requirements are being explained and written in detail so that the whoever from the development team is developing the system has to follow this SRS or BRS document, or whoever is from the testing team is doing the testing should follow the requirements that are being listed out in the SRS document. Okay, so these are the major objectives of software testing. Any questions before moving on to the next slide?
Yeah, actually, like for SRS, there is one position like business analyst. So
Exactly.
is it the same or how it is?
Yeah, it would be the same thing. Nice question. So we are going to talk about that in today's session itself. Roles in SDLC. You see this slide? Roles in software development lifecycle. We will talk about business analyst and other roles also. Yeah, to answer your question, yes, the business analyst is the guy who is going to write all these requirements in a document called SRS in the BRS.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's try to understand the types of testing. So basically there are two types of testings. One is black box testing and another one is white box testing. So let's try to understand what do you mean by a black box testing and then try to understand what is white box testing. So if you guys look at this diagram, which is showing completely in the black color, we are calling this as a black box. So what are we having inside this black box? We are having executable program. So it's typically a program which is written by a developer to implement your system. So we just talked about a couple of requirements about ATM machine, right? So the developer is going to implement all those requirements by writing some program using some technology or using some programming languages. So if you see the black box, so whatever the code is written by the developer, it is inside the black box. So what do you mean by the black box? So when I say the black box, do you guys can see anything inside the black box? Nothing is visible. So let me give the same ATM example for you guys. Now let's say that I'm a customer for some bank. I go to the specific bank or any ATM bank, it doesn't matter for me. I just insert my ATM card, I enter the PIN number and I select withdrawal option. I enter some amount, right? And then I take the amount whatever I wanted, and then I wanted to go for paying my some utility bills through ATM machine, and I select that option. I pay some payments, you know, and then I wanted to perform some more action called transfer amount from cards to card. I think you guys might aware now this system has come. You guys can transfer amount from card to card by even inside in your ATM machine also, right? And like this, I'm performing a lot of activities. So what I'm doing, the first step, let's go the step by step. So what I'm doing, the first step, I'm inputting my ATM card. Are you guys getting what I'm saying? I just go and insert my ATM card inside the ATM machine. That's my first input. And then what it is asking, enter the PIN number. So what is my second input? I'm entering my PIN number. And what is the third? Then what it is displaying? It is displaying the menu with lot of options. What do you want it to do, right? The like say I want to withdraw my option. So again, I'm inputting the option called withdrawal. Then it asks to enter the amount. So what is the input I'm giving? I'm entering some $5,000 or 5,000 rupees for my withdrawal amount, right? And then I click on confirm. Again, I'm inputting. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm giving a lot of inputs to the system, and it is taking all of my inputs, and consider this box is an ATM machine. Okay, so the black box which I'm trying to say here, consider this as your ATM machine. Now when you guys are inputting it, it is going inside the ATM machine, it is executing the program, it's executing set of lines of the code based on your input that you guys are giving in. Now what should be your output here? How much money you entered for withdrawal? 5,000 rupees, right? So I entered 5,000 that I wanted to withdraw it. So what is expected behavior? You should get 5,000 rupees from the ATM machine as your output. Do you guys really know what is happening inside the black box, or do you guys really know what is happening inside the ATM machine?
No.
So it's a pure black box for me. I really do not know what is happening in the box, which lines of the code it is executing, which programming language they have used implementing this program, and which technology they have used in implementing it. What is the architecture of the application or the product that is used inside the ATM machine? I do not have any knowledge. So you are trying to perform the activities which end user is going to do, or you are trying to perform the activities to make sure that system is working as expected. So you have no idea what is happening inside the black box, inside your ATM machine, right? So you just go ahead and insert the card and perform the activities what you wanted to do it. Just go ahead and get the amount, you are done. So that's what exactly called as black box testing. So black box testing treats the system as a black box. So it doesn't explicitly use knowledge of internal structure or code of the application. You don't know what is the code, what is the logic they have written, what is the internal architecture of the system, right? So you really don't know what's happening and how it is implemented in black box testing. In other words, test engineer need not to know the internal working of the black box. So you don't need to know internally what is happening inside the box. So you really don't need to know what is happening inside the box. You are only need to know what input I'm giving. Am I getting the relevant output or not? So that's what exactly the black box testing that you guys have to you guys have to do. So main focus in black box testing is on functionality of the system as a whole. So what do you mean by the functionality? Now let me give an example of the calculator. I just gave an example of ATM. I'm just trying to give another example. Now, like say that I would like to, I would like to enter 50 and I would like to add another number plus 60. So what do you guys think? What would be the output here?
110.
110. So I need to know what is expected behavior, what is expected. If you know the expected, then only you guys would be able to test it. Now, what I'm trying to do, 50 plus 60, if I'm trying to sum it, I should get 110. Do you guys really know what is happening inside the calculator, which function they are calling, which technology they use, which language they use, how the architecture is designed? We have zero knowledge. So that's what exactly called as black box testing. Any questions on black box testing? Let me know.
No.
Okay, good. So then what is white box testing then? You have white box testing, right? What is white box testing? Now, consider this black box as a white box. You guys know the difference between black box and white box, right? When I say black box, nothing is visible. When you say white box, it's purely visible for you, right? So if you reverse the black box, it is nothing but your white box testing. What do you mean by reverse? So do you guys know what is the architecture of the system in black box?
No.
Do you guys know what is how the code logic is written? Are you guys looking at the code?
No.
No.
Do you guys know which technology they have used and what is the architecture of the ATM machine? We don't know.
No.
Because it's black box testing. For me, just give the input and validate the output, whether the output is coming correct or not, right? And I can give one more example. You like say you have a Gmail account, you enter your user ID and you enter the password. Do you guys know what is the technology Gmail is using? Do you guys know what is the architecture, how it is designed for the Gmail? We don't know. We just do some input and validate the output is working perfectly or not. If you reverse it, it's a white box, which is nothing but you will have an access to the code. You'll have an access to view the architecture of the system, how it is designed, and you will also needs to go through your when I say the code that is written by the developer, you also need to know which logic. Now I just gave an example of withdrawal the money, right? There are a lot of code is written for the different requirements, right? Like raising a checkbook request, raising a complaint, raising funds transfer request, withdrawal amount. So you guys are performing in a withdrawal action from the ATM machine to withdraw. You need to go to that specific code and validate how the logic is written, right? So that's what exactly white box testing means. So white box testing where you guys have to look into the code, verifying each line of the code and make sure the code is written correct and make sure architecture is also designed correct, and you completely deal at the code level, at the technology level, right? That's what exactly called as white box testing. Any questions?
Yeah, there is one point which I had to ask. That is, in white box testing, it means that the whole program is visible to the tester, right? It means he can check that how the program is written and how it is written.
So I would not say a tester. Let's talk about the concept. We will talk about later. White box testing done by tester or not, that we will talk. So in white box testing, code is visible. Answer is yes.
Okay.
But not to the end user for sure. Now let's say, Ankush, you have an HDFC account, you have an ATM card.
I got that point, but I was just asking white box that whether the program is written that line of codes, that is visible to the trainer, right? Sorry, tester, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Yeah, Dhanshree, any questions on this slide?
No, sir. No.
I was basically expecting a question here. So if when I'm asking multiple times any questions, generally it means I'm expecting a question.
I just have one question. Like, code is visible in Whitebox, so there is a mm, like
Yeah, go ahead.
knowledge about the code to tester, right?
Correct.
So how it is? If code is it in Java, then I'm from non-programming background. So how it works?
So can I put your question in different way? Is
Yeah,
tester
yeah.
is responsible for white box testing? That's the question. That's what you're pointing out, right? I'm a tester. Do I need to do
Hmm,
white box testing? If so, I do not have programming knowledge background. How do I do white box testing?
Yes, yes, correct, correct.
Yeah. So is tester is responsible for white box testing? Answer is no. Now, why I'm saying no? Let me give an example. Like say that you guys are working in project called HDFC Bank is your client. I'm just giving an example. So let's say that complete code and technology they have used is Java and J2E, Java and Advanced Java. And now say that Ankush has good knowledge on Java J2E, and if he knows the Java J2E is interested to do white box testing, that's really good. Ankush can go ahead and access the code and understand the logic and look at the architecture and then try to find the defects in the coding or in the architecture if there are any. Now let's say that Ankush is done with this project, completely implemented on Java J2E, and project is completed. Now Ankush is moving into another project called for the another project called like say Metro, and you guys know the Metro train, right? So in that project is completely implemented in Microsoft technologies. Do you think that Ankush needs to learn the Microsoft technologies in order to do the white box testing for the client Metro, whatever they're implementing? Answer
I
is no.
think, uh,
Now let's say that the tester role is tester is always keep on moving from one project to another project. Now say I'm involved into a project one, and project one is completed in 1 year, and everything is delivered to the client, and it handed it over to the supporting team, and you are done. Tester role is done. Now what tester would do? Tester will move on to the project two, and again 6 month project two is done. Again the tester will move on to project three. It just goes on, right? So when it's just going on, every project has different implementation of the technology. One project comes with the SAP, one project comes with the Salesforce, one project comes with the technology called Microsoft Dynamics AX, one comes with the Microsoft technologies, one comes with the Java and Advanced Java. So it is not possible for the tester to learn every technology whenever they are moving on to the specific project. So it doesn't matter which technology the system is being implemented on which technology it is being implemented. So testers role is common. So that's where there is a huge demand for the tester irrespective of the technology. They can go on work on every project whatever the technology that is being implemented. So that's where the white box testing is not applicable for the tester. So most of the time tester is going to do the black box testing only. However, if you know, as an example, I was just giving an example for as an Ankush knows, Ankush is a tester who knows the Java J2E, and if he is extremely good on that particular technology, and the project on which he is working is also on Java J2E, he can go ahead and do the white box testing. There is no thumb rule that tester should not do. Okay. Any questions on this slide before moving on to the next one?
no.
Okay. So let's move on for the next slide, which is talking about SDLC. So what do you mean by SDLC? Let me make a note for you guys. SDLC is nothing but software life cycle. So what do you mean by a software development life cycle? So basically, when you are, like, say I got a product, I got a deal from one of the client. Okay, I got a deal from the client for developing one of the product, right? So how the software is going to start, from where it is going to start, what are the different phases it's going to continue, and when it is going to end, right? Even human being has their own, we have our own life cycle. You start, with the birth, and then you go to school, and then become a youngster, and then go for the job, and it just goes on. We have our own life cycle. In a similar way, software also has its own life cycle, which we are basically calling it as software development life cycle, right? So software development life cycle has different phases, right? So let me make a note. Software development life cycle has below phases, right? The one is requirement gathering. Otherwise, I would just say gathering business requirements. Then, converting requirements to SRS/BRS. I will explain each one of the phase. I'm just making a note first. And then designing, and then development/implementation/coding. So people use different terminology, so I'm just making it, coding, and then testing, and then finally it will go for maintenance. So that's what exactly I think. These are the different phases of software development life cycle. So the first phase is it starts gathering the business requirements. So what do you mean by gathering the business requirements? Can you guys explain me, like, now you got a product, right? Gathering the business requirements. Let me give an example of the training what we are doing now. Now you guys are enrolled for some course like software testing and as well as automation testing. Now you are gathering your requirements. So I need to gather your requirements. What exactly are you guys looking for? Are you guys looking for manual testing? Are you guys looking for Selenium? Do you guys have any background of IT experience? And what is your next thing that you wanted to do it? So it's all about your training. Basically starts with the learning, and then it goes with the development of your preparation of the resume, and then it goes for uploading you into a portal, and then it goes for attending the interviews, then it goes for getting the job, and then it goes on continuing your job. So it's a kind of life cycle, right? So similarly, whenever you guys wanted to develop on a product, so we need to gather the business requirements from the client. So we need to ask the client. Now you got a deal, and now you need to go to the client and meet the client and have a discussions and understand what exactly the business requirements from the client. So like I just gave an examples, like, ATM machine. So client will talk about, explain what is the main business objective of the client for developing this ATM machine. So client will explain the objective. What is the objective of having an ATM machine? To avoid the customers to reaching to their branch, right? I don't want to reach to the bank for withdrawing some money. I don't want to reach to bank for raising a checkbook request, which was happening earlier. So client wanted to avoid, and client wanted to, develop something with the objective of where the customers can be avoided reaching to the branch. To cut down their cost of expenditure, they cannot have a huge building, and they cannot, accommodate thousands of people in a day. So they wanted to avoid all these things and give something called ATM machine and provide it every area, so that the people can go ahead and use it. That's the main objective of developing an ATM machine for that particular client. Then talk about the business requirements, gather the requirements from the client, like ATM machine, ask PIN number, then it should lock the account if wrong PIN entered, and it should not allow blockout card, blah, blah, blah. It just goes on. Client will give you 100 requirements. I'm just giving. So you need to go. The phase one of the SDLC basically starts with the gathering of the business requirement. That's what you guys are trying to do it. And then once you guys gather the business requirements, convert them into SRS or BRS. We just talked about what is SRS and BRS, which is nothing but you guys are going to, um, write down all those requirements typically into a document, which is called as SRS or the BRS document, right? Now, once the SRS or BRS document is ready, then it goes for the designing. So you need to design the architecture of the system. Now, how many components we have, how many modules we have, how one module should interact with another module. It's purely technical role where the architect will come into the picture, and that guy is going to design a system, how your designing of the system should look like, right? So that's what exactly the designing comes into picture. Any questions so far? Okay, so once the designing is done, we will go on for development and implementing the coding. So we take some technology, we use some Java or Microsoft, whatever the technologies we have. We just go ahead and start developing the coding for the system. And then finally it goes for testing, where our role, basically tester role, starts with the testing of the system to make sure whatever the requirements that are given in phase 2, which is called as SRS or BRS, are they working as expected. That's what we are trying to do it under testing phase. Finally, it goes on to the maintenance. So what do you mean by a maintenance? Now let's take an example. You guys have done the testing for HDFC Bank as your client, and you implemented net banking or ATM machine. Let's say you implemented online banking in which you have funds transfer and everything, right? So once you guys have implemented, now you release it to the customer. HDFC Bank announces saying the people, hey guys, we are done. Online banking system is ready for you guys. So you don't need to visit the bank. You can go ahead and do all checkbook requests, raising a complaint, fund transfer, paying your electricity bills, paying your credit card bills. You don't need to visit for the bank. As much as possible, you guys can go ahead and use our net banking from today, right? And like say you are one of the customers of HDFC Bank, and because testing is completed and tester confirmed everything is looking good and working fine, and the tester, once the tester is confirmed, it will be made available live for the people to use it. Now like say that you are a customer, you are trying to funds transfer. Let's say that you are trying to transfer funds to me from your HDFC Bank to my account. Like say that you are entering 1,000 rupees to transfer from me. So when you guys are transferring 1,000 rupees from your account to my account through online banking, the system is transferring $1,000 to me, but amount is deducted $10,000 from your account. What you guys would do? Are you guys getting what I'm saying?
Yes, will contact to bank.
Whom do you contact in bank?
A manager.
Manager. Okay, let me give another example. You have a postpaid connection from Airtel, and it's like say you are supposed to get 599 as your bill. You got 5,999. So what you guys would do?
We will contact to customer care.
Exactly. So maintenance is all about, though you have done testing, you thoroughly verified, it doesn't mean you will not get any defect at all. There are still chances the defects would be triggering, and there should be a team called supporting. We call it as maintenance or support team. So just now you said you will call to the call center of Airtel, right? So, or you said you will reach out to the customer care for banking. Every bank has the customer care number, right? Do you agree? So
Yes.
in maintenance, we have L1, level 1, level 2, and level 3. So you guys have 3 levels, level 1, level 2, and level 3. So level 1 is typically nothing but a call center guy. So I think Dhanshree, you just said you will call to the customer care of Airtel number, right? So level 1 is nothing but a call center. So call center guy. So whenever you guys call it, you are starting using your net banking of HDFC, and all looks good. But when you guys are transferring the funds from one bank to another bank through the net banking, you are finding a defect there. So what you guys would do, you immediately take the phone and call to the supporting team, and the guy who picks your call is known as call center guy, and he takes all the information, your name, your account number, and when did you do the transfer, and all the information this guy would do. And this guy will create an incident or ticket. Hope you guys would have called to some issues for some customer care, maybe whatever the reason for whatever the product, right? So what they would do, they acknowledge you with the incident number or ticket number. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now the L2 guy comes into the picture. So incident is being created, ticket is being there, and L2 guy will do the analysis whether this issue is happening only for Dhanshree or it is also happening for other customers. Or maybe customer would have entered 10,000, but by mistakenly customer is thinking that 1,000 only they have entered. Something like that. So the L2 guy role is completely do the analysis and understand, is it something wrong with the system or it's a something misunderstanding from the customer. Once L2 guy does the analysis, let me take an example of your online banking transfer. Like say you transfer $1,000 to me, so 1,000 whatever dollars or rupees, and my I got 1,000 rupees or dollars only to my account, but in your account it is deducted 10,000. This guy is going to log in into verify your account details. Is it really 10,000 deducted, or by mistake you would have overlooked also, right? So if it is 10,000 deducted, this guy is going to raise a defect, which is missed in the testing. This defect would have caught in the testing itself, but somehow it is missed by the testing team and it is triggered to the end user directly. That's what I mean to say, prevent the defects. The fourth point, we are talking about major testing objective to prevent the defects to the end user. Somehow we tried all the thing, but somehow here and there it happens. 1 or 2 defects would be triggering to the end user. So now you got a defect. Now it raised an incident. It goes to L2 team, and L2 team is typically does the analysis, and this guy raises the defect. And what is L3 guy is going to do? L3 guy is coming from the development itself, right? So this guy is going to fix the defect. Why it is transferring unnecessarily 10,000? I mean, why it is deducting $10,000 or 10,000 rupees from your account? They fix it. Once they fix it, again this guy testing team is going to do the testing of the defect. Now let's talk about the roles in SDLC. We talked about any questions on SDLC before moving on?
Yeah, actually, as you have given an example, sir, so can we say that this is the issue due to the we can say less information regarding SRS and BRS? That's why it is happening, or it is the testing issue? The testing is not done properly.
It can be both the reasons. It could be testing is not happening properly. It could be one reason. The tester would have not tested by logging into to beneficiary account. Now you transfer to the beneficiary, which is my account, right? You need to verify what amount is deposited and what amount is deducted from your account. Maybe the tester would have missed it. That could be one issue. Maybe the requirements are not clear, due to which the defect is triggered.
Okay. And one more, that is the point number 1 and point number 2, that you are saying that gathering business requirement and converting requirement to SRS BRS. So what I feel that both should be same, no sir? Both are same, because
Not
the
exactly.
customer, yeah, actually, if I'm considering as a customer for myself, then I will go with the requirements, sir, complete requirement. Okay. So that requirement is written in a uniform manner, right? So
Mhm.
we both should be same, na? Because
No, no. What
the
I mean
BRS,
to, yeah, I
yeah,
got your question. So what I mean to say, converting requirements to SRS. So what is SRS? Software Requirement Specification, which
yeah.
means whatever is being listed in the SRS document, that is going to be implemented for sure, and that's going to be tested from the testing team. So, but not all the requirements can be implemented. Now, client says that my ATM machine color should not be changed for 10 years. It is possible to implement through the software. That's one of the
No.
requirements for the client, right?
Okay.
And all of a sudden power goes off,
Yeah.
right? And then it should not go off and start on. Like say it is not possible to implement, which is coming completely out of scope from the software. So we may not able to convert everything into a business requirement to SRS document. So maybe some requirements that client is asking, which may not be possible, we will not convert them into SRS. Maybe like color of it and the power goes off, it should
Yeah, yeah.
immediately. Those kind of client may come up with lot of requirements. We need to do the analysis of the requirements and make sure whatever we can implement it, put them only in the SRS document or BRS. Don't put everything what client is asking.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. Now for 1 and 2, I'm talking about when I say 1 and 2, the point number 1 and point number 2, phase 1 and phase 2. I'm talking about the roles here. Roles for 1 and 2 is implemented by BA. Let me put it. Business analyst. We call it as a BA, right? And in Agile, we call it as a product owner. We will talk about what is Agile and product owner. Don't worry about it. And 1 and 2 means this one. Phase 1 and phase 2. Who is responsible? Who takes up that role is business analyst. So the designing, point number 3, architect. Architect is the guy who is going to take that particular role. Architect is the senior most guy in IT industry. So he is or she is the guy who is going to take care about the designing. So 4, what is the phase 4? Development. So who is going to do it? Developer. Phase 5. So who is going to do testing? Tester. So maintenance, you guys already know. L1, L2, L3. We categorized into the different teams. Okay. So that's about the roles in SDLC. Our role is in phase 5. So once 1 to 5, 4 different phases, then we'll have tester role. So to answer your question, Ankush, why the defect is triggered while doing the funds transfer, we have a separate topic on why defects triggered in the production, why defects are leakage from the testing team. That's a separate topic. There are a couple of reasons why the defects are triggered that we will talk it in the separate session. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions? And I have my own blog. I mean, I am writing the blog also whenever I'm getting the time. You guys can go to the blog techtrainersonline.com. Let me show you guys. So this is the website. I think you already went through this website. I can show you guys can go to the blog. You guys can go and explore more from the blog. I'm keep on adding the blog. So for you guys, this could be direct material for you. So once we talked about SDLC, what is SDLC and the stuff. If you guys wanted to go through it, that's being already written here. So introduction to software testing and types of software testing. You guys can go through it. Click on read more. It will take you into in detailed explanation what we discussed. So we are talking software testing and types of testing, what we do. I have listed of in detailed explanation, right? So you guys can use this blog for you guys to go through. I would recommend once the day's session is done, like say we are done for today's session, and I would recommend you guys for sure go through this blog and understand whatever is being listed out. Come up with the questions if you guys have any questions for me tomorrow. I'm also talking about objectives of software testing, types of testing, which we have discussed, right? Go through this and then come back to me if you guys have any questions. In tomorrow's session, we'll try to talk about software development lifecycle models. I think even we have that also. You guys can go through. Even we have that also, SDLC, software development lifecycle. Even that helps you guys to understand more before coming to the session, right? If you understand software development lifecycle model, right? And we also talked about software development lifecycle. You guys can go through the software development, what we are trying to do, right? All these things you guys can go ahead and come back to me with the questions, whatever you guys have, anything. Okay. So you can watch this blog. You can add it as your favorite, your browser, so that you can just go to favorites and open the blog and go through it. I would strongly recommend you guys go through this, whatever we discussed from the blog, and which makes you guys more detailed enough information to you, and also gets you some questions for you. Okay. So
Okay.
I have given the blog also here. So let's stop it here for today. Let's not push so many things on day one. So what I would be sharing you guys is I would be sharing you this PPT as well. As part of my email, you will get this PPT on daily basis, and you guys would get the notes, whatever I have listed out the notes for you guys, and as well as recorded videos. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll stop the recording now and I'll open for any questions you guys have it. Thanks, guys. We'll catch up tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you.
So I just stopped recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
You guys